Welcome to the next module, which is looking at learning content and differentiation. The most important thing to remember is that this strategy is based upon the learning that's occurring in the classroom. So all of that will occur the same as usual. However, what Mastery Learning Folders will enable you to do is differentiate to the level of the individual if needed. Now, it could be that the whole class needs to practice the content that you've been introducing in lessons, and in that case, consolidation is what you will be using the folders for. But there could be other selected students who need to go earlier on the learning progression of your topic, so they can use the tool for remediation or for others for extension. The content in the folder can be mixed in many ways. So it can contain different topics, it can contain different types of flashcards, those that contain facts or those that need for the student to demonstrate a strategy, or things like self-regulation. The thing to remember is that the skills, the learning objectives that we're looking for are remembering, understanding, and applying. And these are essential knowledge and skills to be used in those higher order thinking skills. If the flashcard contains some type of fact, then what you'll be looking for in terms of success criteria is recall or recognition. If the flashcard contains some type of skill, then you'll be looking for the student to be able to demonstrate or explain how they do the particular content. So for example, you can see a mixed edition flashcard. I would be asking the student, what's the most efficient and effective way that you could add these numbers together? And I would be hoping to hear something about number partitioning. So taking a 1 off the 7 onto the 5, which would make double 5 and double 6, for example. And then there's the self-regulation or behavioural goal flashcards. So they might be able to demonstrate that they are being mindful and putting into practice these goals through giving you an example. The allocation of flashcards can happen in multiple ways. First of all, you might be aware of a student who has special needs and they need to go back earlier in the learning progression of a particular topic, and so you can allocate flashcards that are suited to helping that child progress from where they're at. In just walking around the classroom, you may notice, for example, that some students are still not using the correct pencil grip, so you could put those flashcards into those selected students' folders, or things like a spelling correction that needs work. And then, as I mentioned before, using your assessments and observation of your classroom learning, the flashcards might be related to consolidation or remediation or extension. Once you have determined the content for each child's folder, that can be placed in the store pocket. The store pocket is an inactive pocket, but what you can then do is you can choose the appropriate learning load for each student. Now, there could be a learning load for the students with lower aptitude, and there could be an average learning load. But what we're looking for is the right challenge to success ratio. We don't want students feeling overwhelmed with the amount of active content, and we don't want them underwhelmed either. So maybe approximately to start with, on average 8 to 10 flashcards, but this is something that you can adjust when you see the results at the mastery test. The folder cycle naturally differentiates the learning time. So as you've seen in the process, if a flashcard is not remembered or is not demonstrated, then it's placed to the side and it returns to the hive with any new flashcards that have come into the process. So it's important to explain to the students that this is simply giving the flashcard more practice time. The final way that you can differentiate learning is by taking a look at the intervals between folder sessions. Now, this is just a typical classroom. They're using the folders 4 times a week. But if you find that there's a student who's still not experiencing success at a good rate, then you could adjust these learning levels. What we're actually trying to do is we're trying to get the right challenge to success ratio, and that is we would like to see students experiencing success from about pocket number 2 or 3. We would like to see that flashcard is starting to move forward consistently. So to do that for all students, there is the option of moving the intervals closer together. So that could be that particular students use the folder every day, or if it's for a special needs student, it could even be a session occurs at the start of the school day with parent help and a session occurs at home. Now, I would only recommend this for a small number of students because otherwise it gets to be a classroom management issue, but it is an option to help all students to have that sense of a successful learning experience.